Hello students, this is History Class 10, Chapter 1, Part 2. In Part 1, we have discussed what is nationalism, second, the Napoleonic Code, and third, what were the steps taken by revolutionaries in France to create collective or common identity. Now let's start Part 2. Till 1750, no nation state in Europe. That means till 1750, there was no nation state in Europe. What is nation state? Nation state means independent country with common culture, common language, common identity, or common history. But in Europe, for example, Habsburg Empire, there were German speaking people, there were Italian speaking people, and there were many other languages speaking people within the same Habsburg Empire. That means there was no common language, there was no common culture, that means there was no nation state in Europe. But you might think that in India also, India has multi-language, multi-culture, multi-religion. So you might think that India is not a nation state. But you have to remember, we have the common history. We have the common history. So India is a nation state. And what common history India has? That is, we all the Indian have bitter experience of past. That is, we were tortured, we were dominated, we were exploited by the Britishers. So we fought combinedly against the Britishers and we got independence, and presently we are living in a country under a constitution. That means we have a common history wherever we might be living in India. That means India is a nation state. Now, society of Europe. What type of society the Europe had at that time? Society of Europe, there were aristocratic group of people, and who were aristocratic group of people? They were the land owning people, that means the landlords. They were rich and powerful, and they spoke French language, and at the same time they were connected by ties of marriage. That means the aristocratic group of people, they got married within the aristocratic group of people. And another group of people in Europe, that was the peasantry. And peasantry, they were poor, they were the people working under aristocracy, and they were large in number also. But the aristocracy, they were few in number. And the third group of people in Europe that time was the middle class people. And who were the middle class people? They were the industrialists, they were the businessmen, they were the professionals. That means the teachers, doctors, engineers, etc. That means this middle class group came into existence when some industries started to be developing in Europe. Some industries, they started to be developing in Europe, so industrialists came into existence, businessmen came into existence, and at the same time doctor, engineers, teachers, etc. They all are the middle class people. Middle class people, they are generally the intellectual people. Okay, now the middle class people, they develop a thought or ideology. The middle class people, they developed a thought or ideology, that is the liberal nationalism. Now what is liberal nationalism? Liberal nationalism means those group of people or those group of middle class people who believed in freedom for individual. Freedom for individual, number one. Number two, they believed in equality before law. Third, they believed in government with consent. Government with consent or government with agreement. That means the democratic form of government. And they also wanted freedom of market and no trade restriction. That means they wanted freedom of market and no trade restriction because they were the industrialists and the businessmen. So if there is freedom in market and if there is no restriction in trade, they could practice their business or the trade easily in Europe. But liberal nationalism, some negative point, that was they believed that men without property and all women, they should not have voting right. That means liberal nationalism, or the people with the concept of liberal nationalism, they believe that only the men with property must have voting right, but men without property and all women, they must not be given voting right. It was the belief or the thought of liberal nationalism. Okay. Now, in 1848, Zollverein, a custom union, was formed with the initiative of Prussia. And why Zollverein, a custom union, was formed? This custom union was formed to practice the trade or to do the business easily without any restriction. That means Zollverein, a custom union, or you can say a trade union, was formed in 1848 with the initiative of Prussia, with the leadership of Prussia. And what this custom union did? This custom union abolished trade barrier and trade restriction. That means this custom union abolished trade barriers and trade restriction so that trade could be practiced in Europe easily. And number two, this custom union also reduced number of currencies from 30 to only 2. That means there were many currencies which were using in Europe that time, and if many currencies were used in Europe, it was very much difficult to practice the business. That means to sell the products, to buy the products, etc. And if there were only 2 currency, it could be very much easy for the businessmen to sell the product and also for the customer to buy the product, products. Okay, that means what did the custom union Zollverein did? Number 1, abolish trade barriers and restrictions, and number 2, reduce number of currencies from 30 to only 2. That means 30 करेंसी से घटा करके सिर्फ 2 ही करेंसी वहां पर यूज करने लगे. But during that same particular time, unfortunately, a new conservatism came into existence. A new conservatism came into existence in 1815 in Europe. And who were the new conservatism? What is new conservatism? New conservatism were a group of people who either believed in monarchical form of government. They were the group of people who either believed in monarchical form of government or slow change. That means they were the people who believed in monarchical form of government, and if they wanted some change in monarchical form of government also, they wanted slow change. For example, Napoleon Bonaparte. He was also a dictatorial monarch, but he brought some reform. That means here, conservative or the new conservative, they were the group of people who either believed in monarchy or who wanted monarchy, and if they wanted some changes also, they wanted slow change. That means they did not want change from monarchy to democracy directly. That means new conservative people, they were the opposition of liberal nationalists. They were the opposition of democratic concept of the people. Okay. Now, Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria. That means the representative from Britain, Russia, Prussia and Austria, with the leadership of Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich, drew a Treaty of Vienna in 1815. That means in 1815, with the leadership of the Duke of Metternich, okay, Duke Metternich of Austria, with the leadership of Duke Metternich of Austria, in the 1815 Treaty of Vienna was signed. Treaty of Vienna was signed. And why the Treaty of Vienna was signed? Treaty of Vienna, when it was signed? 1815. That means after the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Treaty of Vienna was signed. Why the Treaty of Vienna was signed? What was the intention behind signing the Treaty of Vienna? Main intention was to restore monarchy. That means the main intention of signing the Treaty of Vienna was to restore monarchy. That means in 1793 in France, monarchy was overthrown and democracy was established. Okay. Now, Treaty of Vienna was signed to again establish monarchy. To again establish monarchy. It was the intention of signing the Treaty of Vienna. And who signed the Treaty of Vienna? Representative from Britain, Russia, Prussia and Austria. Okay. And that Treaty of Vienna was given the leadership by Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. Okay. And Treaty of Vienna was signed in 1815. Now, after signing the Treaty of Vienna, Bourbon dynasty was restored to power. Bourbon dynasty. Bourbon dynasty, it was a monarchical form of government and it was ruling in France before 1793. That means after 1793, again Bourbon dynasty, monarchical form of government was overthrown and democracy was established over there. But after the Treaty of Vienna, again Bourbon dynasty, monarchical form of government was established or restored. Number 2, France lost the territories it had annexed under Napoleon. That means during the reign of Napoleon, many territories were annexed to France by Napoleon. And that annexed territory, annexed by Napoleon Bonaparte, was also lost by France after the Treaty of Vienna. And third, series of states were set up in the boundaries of France. That means series of states were set up in the boundaries of France to prevent the expansion of France, to prevent the expansion of France in future. And from here we understood that the conservative were autocratic. Conservative were autocratic and they also imposed censorship. That means conservative, they were autocratic, they preferred monarchical form of government and they also imposed censorship. Censorship means they took away the freedom of press, media and etc. So revolutionaries formed secret societies like Carbonaries. That means if the conservative, they wanted monarchical form of government, they were in opposition of democracy. So revolutionaries who wanted democracy, they formed secret societies like Carbonaries. And why the revolutionaries formed the secret societies? Revolutionaries formed the secret societies because here the conservatives, they didn't allow the revolutionaries to spread the idea of equality, freedom, democracy, justice, etc. So revolutionaries, they had to form the secret societies like the Carbonari. Okay. And Giuseppe Mazzini, the Italian revolutionary, founded 2 underground society. Number 1, Young Italy in Marseille in France, and number 2, he also formed another underground society, that is Young Europe in Bonn, that is in Switzerland. That means Giuseppe Mazzini, the Italian revolutionary, he founded 2 underground societies named Young Italy and Young Europe. Okay. And Metternich, Duke or the Chancellor, he described Giuseppe Mazzini the most dangerous enemy of our social order. That means Metternich described Giuseppe Mazzini the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Why? Why Metternich said that Giuseppe Mazzini was the most dangerous enemy? Why? Because Giuseppe Mazzini relentlessly opposed monarchy. That means here Mazzini opposed monarchy, or Mazzini wanted democracy. Okay, that's why here Metternich said or described Mazzini the most dangerous enemy. This much for today. Okay, and we will discuss the more in the next topic. Okay, these were the very important, so if you remember this much also, it will do. You can score 100%.